All right, another day. We're heading to studio golf. Got a day of training planned. I want to take you guys along, show you how I train, how I prepare for tournament golf. I injured my neck about a week ago, about 8 days ago. Strained a muscle in my neck and haven't been able to hit balls for the last week. We got 1 week until the Southern California Amateur. Only a few days after that is US Mid-Am Qualifier. Not much time to get prepped and ready. I've been working on short game a lot this week because that's all I've been able to do. Finally feeling well enough to be able to maybe hit some full wedges and full shots. So we're gonna go to studio golf and work on some wedge distance control after our workout. And then we got a PT session lined up. Hopefully get my neck mobilized and kind of work on the mechanics of my shoulder and neck and trying to get it moving better. Hopefully get it healed by next week. And then we're gonna go over to Mission Bay Golf Course and do a little chipping and putting practice. You're gonna come with me through all of my activities, see if we can provide some value, show you how I prepare, what I'm dealing with currently, and how we're gonna overcome it and play well in these tournaments. So let's get to it. All right, first up, let's get warm. I'm gonna pull up the GSHB Performance App. I think today, because of my neck, and it's probably getting to be about 70% healed. I hit balls for the first time in a week yesterday, just wedges and some short irons. It's progressing day by day, but it's still not anywhere near full. We're gonna do a slightly less strenuous exercise. I don't wanna do anything that's gonna flare it up. Certainly at this point, we wanna keep moving forward each day, getting a little bit better each day. So I'm gonna go into, I think I'll do the body coordination program. So this is my brand new GSHB Performance App. Essentially combines mobility, injury prevention, power, and just overall golf performance. Since I'm a PT, obviously a big portion of it is injury prevention and kind of like prehab. People who are not used to training get into golf fitness, they go a little too hard too soon, then they develop some injuries, and then you're going backwards because you can't play. To make sure you're taking those steps, building that foundation and moving correctly level by level so that you aren't injured and you can actually progress your game, progress your swing speed. Because if you're on the sideline, you're losing ground. So this is all warm up. Super important to spend a good amount of time warming up. I like to combine mobility and warm up, get your joints moving, get them lubricated, and then also get the muscles activated around the joints, which are going to protect them when you're doing more explosive movements. If you're not warmed up, if those muscles support the joint, if they're not warmed up, you're more likely to then get strains and things too. But I like to throw in a little bit of mobility, work on the joints a little bit, and kind of get more done. So this is a killer. If you go slow, this really strengthens the hip, the deep hip tissues, which is super important in the golf swing. You just put so much pressure on those hips. I don't think anything makes my hips feel better than that one. This entire section of muscles is just like exhausted. Oh, man. Because I'm dealing with this neck strain, I really want to make sure that my shoulders are warmed up properly and that all those muscles kind of up here that stabilize are really turned on. Because if they're not turned on and if they're not doing their job, it's going to put more pressure and more stress up into the neck. Because the neck already takes a lot of pressure during the swing, right? When we're swinging, we're basically doing shoulder to chin on both sides within a second. You know, it's essentially like that. I'm gonna do a couple more neck specific ones. Otherwise I'm warm, ready to move on to a little bit of activation and power work. So I'm gonna put a little more emphasis on the kind of the shoulder and upper back work today because I really want to protect my neck sufficiently activated. So we're gonna do one of my favorites here. I'm really squeezing my shoulder blades together. This is just getting all those scapula shoulder blade stabilizers. You don't need much weight for that to be a killer. They're smaller muscles, so they're more endurance muscles. They're not meant for strength and power. I tend to like more eccentric stuff for the neck. You know, putting a band around your head like this and just kind of like holding, hitting it from different angles and just holding. So I'm just resisting that movement, just getting an isometric contraction, because muscles will turn off after an injury. They'll kind of go to sleep. That's one of the main principles in physical therapy, is retraining them to do their job. And isometrics, just holding in place and either resisting or pushing, are the best ways to get that jump started before you move on to more strenuous things. Yeah, it feels a little better. I was getting a little bit of pain with this when we first came in, and now it feels pain-free. So we're gonna jump into a little power work here. Being in tune with your body is such a huge thing. When your body is telling you to take your foot off the gas, and when your body's telling you, okay, you can push harder. And working as a physical therapist, most people don't really have that skill. Being in tune with their body enough to know when they have to go forward, when they have to back off. When in doubt, back off. If it goes away in a day or two, you're fine to continue. It probably wasn't anything. However, if it's lasting longer than that, then you're definitely gonna wanna back off of it. Work something else, do something else. Don't just keep hammering that same movement, that same muscle group, and just kind of getting worse and worse. I'm saying this, but I kind of did it with my neck because I was trying to get ready for these tournaments, and I definitely should have backed off a little bit earlier and said, okay, I need to seek treatment, because I was feeling this stiffness and I just kind of like kept pushing through, hitting balls, and then I strained it. So I need to listen to my own advice. We modified the workout, the given workout a little bit. Didn't do a couple of things that were more overhead, just because I didn't want to put that pressure on the neck. So I substituted in a couple of more gentle kind of neck stabilization, shoulder stabilization things. That workout in particular was a little bit more heavy on mobility, power, which is supposed to be a little bit less fatiguing, rather than if I were to go into more like strength, muscular endurance type activities. Then that would be more fatiguing. I'd be more sore the next day. If it's the day before a tournament or 2 days before the tournament, I don't want to do a lot of really strenuous work, because I don't want to risk, having some twinge or tweak, or being super tired. So I want to kind of work more towards more power, less fatiguing, maybe some mobility to really get the joints feeling stable. Being able to change your workout to fit your goals is super important. I think that's something that I've really tried to incorporate into the app, and I think we did a pretty good job at it. So I love this about studio golf, is having the ability to pull up holes, get all of my carry distances, get all of my ball speed, swing speed, and dialing in my carry distances is super huge. That's the thing I like the most. So we're gonna go through lob wedge through pitching wedge, and we're gonna work on just distance control. I wanna know exactly what my feeling of stock, how far that's going, and then I wanna work on a few distances, taking some yardage off essentially, what my max distance is, which I would call an 11 o'clock swing. So that would be for me like kind of in this range, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I like to use the clock system. Some people don't. For me, it kind of is something that I've done since I was little. Your clock doesn't have to be what it actually is. It's what you feel it is, right? So as long as what you feel it is and you can consistently get to that point. So for me, like my 9 o'clock is actually probably like 9:30 to 10, which is, I've heard Jason Day say the same thing, that pretty much everyone goes past what they think, especially when you're on the course and you have a little adrenaline or whatever. You can vary it based on like how smoothly you swing through the shot as well. If I have to really keep it low, I might just be a little smoother through the shot, but in general, I try to, with my backswing, and then also by choking up maybe a little bit. I'm gonna say that was 104, not 106. This is a game I like to play where I'll hit it and then I call out what I think it is. If I'm within 3 yards, I'm happy. Say that's 105, 105.5. 107, 106.2. We'll go 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And at first I'll just kind of see what the ball's doing. And then once I kind of figure out around my distance, it's like I have an idea. I like to just kind of see what my feel is for the day first, and then I'll start trying to like guess it. Okay, so we'll go, I would consider those swings to be about 10 o'clock. We'll try an 11. So I would say that's probably like 109. Yeah, 108.5. So you can see when I took it back a little further, the ball, it just carried a little further because I didn't swing hard at that. Okay, so we'll go, I'll try and hit my 115 number. So all I'll do is the same thing and just put a little more speed into it at the bottom. That should be pretty close to 115. Yeah, 117.9. Within 3 yards, I'm happy. If I go 11 o'clock and give it a little speed, what I feel is a little more speed at the bottom, we went around 118, 117 to 118. So I go, okay, I file that away. If I went 11 o'clock and didn't give it that little extra speed with the hands, we were right around 115. 10 o'clock, if I gave it a little more speed, we were up close to 110. 10 o'clock, no speed, we were right around 105, 106. So that little bit of speed with the hands usually adds 3 or 4 yards, it seems like, right? So I'll kind of like make these little observations and just kind of like file them away. Like, okay, that feel added about 3 or 4 yards. If I don't do that, it goes a few yards short, right? Let's go 9 o'clock and do the same thing. What's 9 o'clock gonna do? So normally I would say if I had like a 95-yard shot, I'd probably go like 9 o'clock-ish. .93. So that is a shot that I need to practice more because I don't usually practice. I usually practice the 10-yard increments, but I don't practice 20, 30-yard increments hardly at all. So that's a shot that I know, like, potentially for me to get to that next level with the wedge play, being able to hit those balls, different yardages like that, take 20, 30 yards off a club and still hit it straight and still be within 3 yards of your distance. That's something that definitely I can work on that I don't currently. All right, so I'll try it again, 85. Should be pretty good, I think. 88.5, I'm happy with that. So that's like next level. That's like things that Tiger, JT, all these guys who are really good at wedges, that's what they have dialed in, is they know how to move their body, 40%, 50%, 60%, 70% speed. So they can take almost the same speed, the same length backswing and just move their body and arms slower and still hit their numbers. And that's like next level talent, like that takes just a ton of practice. Oh yeah, so we'll try gripping down, see what that does. So I'll grip down. I'll go stock here with grip down. 100. So yeah, potentially took off around 5 yards gripping down like that, which is what I would expect.
Gripping down like what, an inch?
It's probably more like 2 inches. Personally, I feel like gripping down an inch doesn't really do much. I mean, you're talking a couple yards. Gripping down doesn't take that much speed off. That's why I don't do it all that often. I'll do it with a little bit. If I'm just like, okay, I just want to go a touch shorter, I'll grip down. But I'm not like 10 yards shorter, grip down 2 inches. 5 yards is like the max it'll take off. And that's a grip down pretty substantially. I'll try my 95 shot, see if it goes 90. Hey! All right. I should be really doing this like 3 or 4 days a week. Pros are doing this like an hour, 2 hours a day, every day of the week. If I could do this for 3 or 4 days a week, I think that would really help my wedge game. So hopefully that gave, a little bit of insight. I think it's a good system. I like the 9, 10, 11. For me, it seems to work well. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Good practice. Yeah, it's good actually because my neck is feeling a little bit, it's getting a little stiff there. That's the most balls I've hit in 8 days.
Right.
So yeah, we're gonna go get a PT session, go get some work done. My buddy Brian, trying to see if we can get the neck loosened up a little bit, do a little soft tissue work, do a little joint mobilization before we head over to the practice facility, do some short game work. Better. I hit balls yesterday for the first time in a week.
Okay.
It was just wedges and some short irons, just like 80% sort of swings. So nothing, didn't want to push it too much, but I hit about probably 50 balls. Just kind of mostly easy swings. It's a little bit tighter right now. It's a little bit stiffer, but
Okay.
I mean, it's still better than it was last
So
time.
that's your left rotation. Right rotation feels normal. Left rotation is limited.
Right rotation feels better than left.
Okay.
Left is a little
And
limited.
that's-
Right's limited, but not as much.
Okay. Extension, side bending.
I feel it, but it's fine. I feel it. Yeah, a little tight.
Fine. Let's compare it to the other side. Good. The major thing for us is, do we feel like we jumped at 20%?
Yeah.
I was hoping that would happen.
Yeah. No, it definitely did.
That was the kicker, remember? That was, it's like if we get that 20%, then we can start treatment and we'll fly forward.
Yeah.
If we don't, then you'd have to go to clinic and do the A to the B to the C. Okay, so let's go ahead and screen out the shoulder blades. Okay, good. Back and down, all the way. You okay there? All right. Okay, that feels great. Okay, so let's get that just to glide normally, where it feels smooth with no resistance. So up and forward. And again, we're just kind of screening this out before we treat the neck so we don't have other limitations that we think it might be this, we think it might be that. We'll just get rid of all those little things first and then treat where we want to treat to fix the issue at hand. When we go down and, we grab that auricular process there, what we're trying to do is press down to the opposite hip, right? ASIS, that's kind of our vertebrae, but that's not true with everyone, especially people who do repetitive motions. So for you, it's not necessarily down at that angle, it's a little bit of a rotation and almost side, right? Like lateral across your midline. Right there. Here's your grade 3.
Yeah, definitely easier to access the left.
It feels a lot better than the last treatment.
Yeah, left side bend, much better as well. Not getting stuck at the same place. Like it's down gliding way better. Yeah, now I'm actually just feeling more of the tightness when I go right now. I feel it tight on here.
Yeah, so not so much.
More so than the restriction going that way.
That's the one, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's so tight.
That's the one.
Oh, feels like it's
Right?
tearing.
No way.
Yeah. Ah,
3.
that's like burning so hard.
2. 1. The last one. 0.
Then I've been stuck for so long now.
Yeah.
It's just locked up. It's like we're protecting.
Right.
We're not moving. We're protecting. And so it's like, okay, now we got to get it.
I'm surprised you took that long to get to me or any PT.
Well, because I normally just PT myself, but this was a worse injury than I normally have. That's when I hit you up when I knew, because normally it's like, I'll get these little things. I have a bunch of ways that I'll work on myself, and normally that fixes it. And in a few days, I'm good. And I knew after 6, ish days, 5-6 days, when it was not better and it was still quite worse, that's when I was like, okay, this is much worse than I originally thought, or I hoped that it wasn't,
And then what were you thinking about as far as game plan?
And my main goal is to not set myself back this week, to give myself a full another week of healing. If that means I can't hit drivers all week, then I don't hit drivers. You know what I mean? Like I'd like to be able to hit drivers and long clubs, but my number one goal is to not flare it up and not be able to play in the tournament and have to withdraw. So I think another week, I think I'll be good enough for sure to be able to at least play the tournament, even if I'm not hitting 100%.
I mean, you're playing the tournament.
I'm playing the tournament. I'm going to try and get through it unless I literally can't.
Right.
And so I'll just ibuprofen up a little bit and just probably back it off just slightly. So I'm not swinging full out at shots, but I'm playing in a tournament, so it's just a matter of how much practice with the long game I can get in before that. I don't know.
Right.
But my plan is just to slowly each day this week, just start adding a little bit. So we're gonna do a little chipping practice today. Take you through kind of what I do. I mostly practice with 60. I need to start working on 56 too. I got my new wedges. I love my new 56 degree Vokey F grind. Kind of show you my routine, what I do most days. I don't have a ton of time to practice because I do work full time. Practicing is not my job. Yeah, usually most days I only have an hour or an hour and a half to practice. First thing is I always grab 3 balls. When I was younger, I used to get a full bucket, and have the shag bag and just hit ball after ball to the same pin. Worst thing to do for chipping especially, just because chipping is it's such an art and it's so creative. 2 of the biggest things in chipping are understanding different lies, and number 2 is being able to adjust. You don't get 2 shots, you don't get 2 chances. As you'll see today, I'll have parts of my session where I'll work on technique, and generally that's the beginning. I'll spend the first 5 to 10 minutes working on my technique, my checkpoints, but I'll go into more feel, hitting different shots, creativity, hitting out of different lies, trying to learn how the ball reacts out of lies. That's a huge part of being a good chipper that I didn't really realize when I was younger, is like learning how to hit out of different lies and how the ball is gonna come out. So first thing I always do is start out with checking my technique. For me, my keys are, number 1, I want the club head to be outside my hands on the backswing. They call that a steep VSP. If you ever heard Joe Mayo talk about VSP, VSP stands for vertical swing plane. So in other words, is it coming up like that, or is it getting whipped inside my hands? So this would be kind of straight backish, this would be inside, this would be outside. My second checkpoint is going to be my knees. I tend to bend my knees into the shot. Death move in chipping. For me, the feel is, especially in the beginning, I almost feel like I'm straightening my knees from the top of the backswing. So it doesn't actually happen. I probably still bend slightly, but that's my feel. I'll do that a few times, kind of get that feel of straightening. So I'll take it back and then I'll feel like I'm straightening. When you dip, it lowers your bottom and it makes you want to hit behind it more. Feel like I'm straightening, and that helps me then kind of finish with my body and chest more at the target and the club more in front of me. Lastly, I just make sure that my weight is kind of forward, my chest is kind of forward, and then I'm not dropping on the downswing. That's another thing I'll tend to do is I'll get it up and then I'll drop my right side, which flattens the swing plane, once again causes you to hit behind it, is making sure I keep my tilts. So those 3 things, and you'll notice the more I do this, the more I bottom out in front. So once I've spent 5 or 10 minutes hitting some chips, from that point forward, I'm gonna try not to hit the same shot twice. I'll just drop 3 balls, and wherever they land, Especially here, it's like a lot of really bad lies, and I'll hit all 3 of them in the same hole, and I'll try and hit whatever the shot demands. So I'll pretend like I'm just on the golf course. I'll read the lie, I'll see what it gives me, and I'll try to hit the best shot to get it close to the hole. I kind of got a little thing behind me, so I got to play it back in my stance. I got to get a little steeper, play a little bit of a lower one. Okay, so we're kind of in a bit of a divot here. So same thing, kind of play it back in my stance, make sure I'm steep. PGA Tour players are about 98% inside 3 feet, almost a gimme. And then you go to 4 feet and it drops to like 90%, I believe. And then every inch after that, you are further away, it drops about 1%. So inside 3 feet is considered basically a gimme. So that's kind of what you're looking for. So now that I've played some different shots, kind of like course-like shots of what the lie gives me, now I'll play my 3-shot game where I just play a different shot from every lie, no matter what the lie is. So I'll play 1 low, 1 medium, 1 high. And pretty much doesn't matter the lie, I'm gonna try and hit that shot no matter what. And so this is kind of just figuring out how different shots happen out of different lies. So it's kind of a barren lie, but pretty good. So we'll start with the high one. Not a shot I would hit to this pin at all, but. Okay, so now we go medium. Now we go low. For low, I'm playing it back on my stance. I'm getting everything forward, de-lofting. Just trying to maintain that. Oh, would have been good. So another thing I'll do when I have a real bad lie, if I'm in a hole or if I'm sitting down or deep rough, anything that's a bad lie is lots of times I'll raise the handle up, try to get the toe down more. Just makes it easier to catch it clean. So I'll raise that handle, get a little closer, really try and keep that handle up, not much wrist action. It comes out a little cleaner usually. More of a floppy one. Get in. All right, so that's pretty much, if I had 20 minutes, that's kind of how the routine would go. Let's head over to the putting green. Do the same thing. I'll show you my routine in putting, show you how I would go through a 20-minute kind of putting routine, what I would work on, give you some tips on how you can improve. Now, honestly, I've never seen anyone else do this. I read it in a book, but I don't know anyone else who does this. It's one of my go-to drills. Take my tee, I make a little hole about 5 feet from the cup. I take a dime and I put it down about a foot to a foot and a half in front of the ball on the line. My goal is to hit the dime. If I hit the dime, I feel like I hit a good putt. It helps to dial in my eye line and how I'm tracking the line of the putt. If we get over the ball and we look down the line and our eyes tell us we're aimed a foot right and it's supposed to be a right edge or just outside right putt, and you look down the line, you feel like you're aimed a foot right or foot left, it doesn't instill confidence. This dime helps us to be able to track correctly and teaches us, okay, this is how your eyes should move to see where you're actually aimed. The hard part of putting is like not getting frustrated when you don't make putts. You're not gonna make everything every day. Great putters have bad putting days. It's about consistency. It's about being consistent with your routine. You're gonna have bad days, you're gonna have good days, but over a long term, it's gonna even out. You keep that consistency and mindset, and it's gonna work out. So I might do that for 10 minutes. If I have 15 minutes, I'll do 10 minutes on short putts, because I think that's the most important thing. And then after that, I'll go to long range putts, do the same thing. I play 3 balls. I'll never hit the same putt twice. I'll usually stagger them. So it's essentially like a drill. It's essentially like a ladder drill. I'll put 3 balls and I'll just stagger them to the same pin, but I'll hit 3 different putts. I get 1 chance at it, no redos. Get over that little slope. Outside of 15 feet, I'm just looking to get it in like a 2-foot circle. Oh, that might have made it. I'm visualizing how fast the ball's coming off the blade, just like if I were to throw it with my hand, if I were to roll it. I do best visualizing the first third of the putt and how fast it's coming off. And then I'll look at like how it's dying to the hole. But like with my speed control, I just found that for me, I do best visualizing the first third speed. And based on that, I kind of know how far it's gonna go generally. Felt like good speed. I could go in. All right, so I got my 5 minutes block practice, hitting 5-footers, working on alignment, visualizing the line, eye tracking on the line, starting line. Then I worked on 5 minutes of variable short distance practice, and then 5 minutes of long distance variable practice once again. Try to make it as much like the course as possible. Hey guys, thanks for coming along with me for a day of training. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned some tips and things that can help you in your game. Go ahead and give this video a like, leave a comment, let me know what you'd like to see in the next one, and thanks for watching. Hey guys, just really quickly, I wanted to let you know what I've been up to lately. I've spent the last 2 years building the most unique and comprehensive golf performance programs in the world, and now I'm making them available to you on my brand new GSHB Performance App. Inside, you'll find 50+ programs aimed at preventing injury while improving strength, power, and mobility. You'll also get swing drills, nutrition tools, progress tracking, and support from a community of like-minded golfers. If you're serious about golf performance and long-term health, if you want to hit it farther, straighter, and more consistently without pain, if you want a body that makes golf feel easier, not harder, then this is the best deal you will ever see. Click the link to try it risk-free for 7 days.